Good evening, folks. I'm out here standing beside the shed, so that can only mean one thing. It's time for a garden update. But before I get into that, spin you around here and you might see a little something behind me. Clark's swimming pool. You probably remember this from a few videos ago. It was really exciting. It was fun. Well, now it's starting to kind of lose that a little bit. For some reason, this bottom ring is not staying inflated. When we went away to the beach, I kind of emptied the water out of this and kind of let it dry out, and when we come back, I pump everything up and we got no air in there. This thing isn't holding air, it's holding water. This rainbow is no longer holding air, and this thing is no longer holding air. So I'll just say that the only thing holding air is this somewhat, and the slide, which is not quite enough to really get the swimming that you want out of it. So in text, I'm gonna have to give you a thumbs down on this pool. I think we're gonna go back to the classic plastic pool like I had growing up. You really can't go wrong with that. I could store it under the deck. In the wintertime, it's not a big deal. But now we'll actually get into the garden update, what everyone's probably waiting for, the few people that actually care. And boy, we're gonna talk about that. But we'll start over here. We're just gonna work our way all the way around the shed. Here's my little cucumber. This thing isn't doing great. It's not dead yet, but everything is just so dry out here. I'd water this every night, and you can see just how dry the ground is. It's been so hot. In fact, that's why I'm out here right now waiting to do this video until it cools down quite a bit. It's 95 degrees today, and we haven't had any rain. I haven't mowed my yard in probably like a month or so, maybe more. It's been kind of nice for that, but not so nice here. This is my zucchini. You saw me pull a zucchini off this in the last video. Well, this thing needs more water, I think, because it's dying. But I do have a zucchini growing right there, so I got a little something coming in. I just got to keep this thing alive. It needs watered bad, and I try to water every night that I'm home. That plant just fell over. I've been having a constant battle. Perfect timing, I guess, but this tomato plant, and I've been putting these sticks. Let me see, I might have to hold you here like this a little bit, but I'm putting these sticks like this inside these to hold them up, and it just doesn't do a great job because these things are only so deep. But I do have tomatoes growing in there. I really can't see what's on the screen here, so you'll have to just kind of take my word for it. There's some more tomatoes back there. Try to keep this thing up. Let me just put you down for a second here. I'll get this all set up here. There we go. Sorry about that interruption, but boy, still not looking too good. But yeah, there's that tomato plant. I'll show you some other ones here. Tomatoes, just got to keep it standing upright. One thing that's doing really well, I don't think you can kill these if you tried. These are my peas. It's weird how, I planted them back here along this, and it's weird how they're kind of growing out over here, I guess to capture as much sunlight as possible. The sun tends to travel like this, so that's why that gets scorched, because it gets all that afternoon sunlight. This wants to get the morning sunlight, and they're flowering. We're gonna have peas in no time, I'm sure. It's gonna be awesome. Oh, my peppers. I do have some peppers. You can see them on here. But the problem is, these plants are just so tiny. This is the north side, and they produced a little bit, but that was about it. And again, this soil is super dry, even though I water it. Got one pepper on this. I know other people right now, they're flooded with peppers. This is what we got. I pulled that pepper off this one. I think it might have been in the last video or after. It's starting to kind of grow a little bit more on here, but just not really up to the standards that I expect. But that's kind of what this year is. This year is kind of an experiment where I'm trying different things. I'm gonna try this raised bed out. I love the idea of a raised bed. I just don't like the idea of having it directly beside a shed, but that's what I was given, and that's what I'm experimenting with. So next year, this may not be something that I do. That tomato plant just fell over behind me again. I gotta do something about that. My onions, they're growing. I planted the ones in the front, and they're growing well. Cody planted the ones in the back, and she put them pretty deep, so a lot of them haven't grown. I'm not gonna pull any of them out anytime soon. I'm gonna let them grow all year. One thing that has been producing like crazy is my yellow squash plant. This thing, I don't know if it's just like the perfect location or what it is, but it kind of gets all that sun that comes up over this way, again, blocked by the trees. But we pulled probably 3 squashes off this. There's more flowers coming up here, so this thing's doing really well. And then the tomatoes, again, doing pretty well. Having trouble keeping these standing up too. So I have these sticks. If you want to see what they look like, I found them in the shed. My dad uses these things. So that's what they look like. And here's what I want to show you. Our first red tomato. That thing's probably about ready to come off. I'm gonna let it go just a little bit longer. We'll see what we can get off that. But I thought that was really exciting to have a tomato growing there finally. I don't think this thing really wants to focus too much, but there's my tomato. There's more growing on there. Here's some tomatoes for you. Wow, just flooded in there. And all these little ones growing up, which is awesome. This one I was really concerned about. You see all this dead stuff on here. I started pulling a lot of dead plants or leaves and stuff off this, and there's still more. I don't know if there's anything wrong with the plant, but it's producing Roma plants or Roma tomatoes like crazy. They're all throughout here, which is nice. And it seems to be doing good up top. It's just kind of this front side here is a little dead. Might be lack of water, I'm not sure. Here we got another one that fell over. And I was just out here this morning, just not doing a good job of holding these things up. This one, I'm losing a lot of leaves on it. Same situation on this one. But I got a lot of tomatoes there. I'm kind of worried that it's going to produce these tomatoes and that's going to be it. But I do have more flowering up here, which is a good sign. I just got to get these things to stand up. There we go. So that's how it should look right there. And this one, I got a red one in here, it looks like too. A couple red ones down there. This camera really doesn't want to focus, but you can see the color definitely. And these ones are, again, going to be for the chickens. They're growing all over the place. This thing's just vining out here like nuts. Here is my cucumber plant that I haven't watered, haven't touched. You can see it's not doing very well. Look how dry that soil is there. This is unwatered territory over here. So that's what that soil looks like, and then this is what this soil looks like that I have been watering. So that's kind of what's going on out here. Some good and some bad. Here's a look at the elusive mellow cat. If anyone's wondering how the mellow cat's doing, she's doing quite well. She doesn't have lack of water or lack of sunlight. She's got it all. So I guess this is the garden update where things start going downhill. You can see I'm having issues with that zucchini out front. My pepper plants being in the shade aren't really growing. My tomato plants are possibly dying off. Man, everything's just kind of going downhill. Could it be that I was gone for a few days and didn't water? It's possible. Am I not watering enough? Is the soil not good enough or not getting enough light? Could it be all of those things? It's possible, but that's what my garden experiment is. It's trying new things and seeing what works. And so far, right now, I'd say that things are still okay. I still have a chance to pull through on this, and I'm going to be taking you through this journey with me. But it could also go the other way, and everything could kind of just die off, and I might not really get much else from here. But I'm going to keep plugging away at it. I thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Hi. Hey, mister.